We're here at Cub Crafters with Mark Cook from Kitplanes magazine, and we're going to do a little walk around on Cub Crafters X Cub equipped with the nose wheel option. So we badge those airplanes that leave the factory as the NX Cub, which could stand for Nose Wheel X Cub. It could stand for Next Generation X Cub. But this airplane is powered by the new 393i engine, which is a Cub Crafters proprietary engine. 215 horsepower, fuel injected, and only 10 pounds more than the 180 horsepower carbureted engine that's the base model engine on the X Cub. So it's a great power to weight ratio improvement. This airplane's running a Hartzell Trailblazer two-bladed constant speed propeller. Optional on this airplane is Hartzell's new three-bladed Pathfinder propeller, but the one that we're looking at here today is the two-bladed Hartzell Trailblazer, 76-inch diameter. I'm sure everybody's going to ask about the nose wheel. So the nose wheel on this airplane is an option. X Cubs can be set up with any one of 4 landing gear configurations. It can be set up as a tailwheel airplane with aluminum spring gear, a tailwheel airplane with legacy style Cub bungee gear. It can be set up as a nose wheel airplane, which is the way this airplane's set up, or set up as a float plane. The airframe carries the structure for all of those different options. And this is the nose wheel. It's a trailing link setup. So the tire sits behind this knuckle, and the reason we went with the trailing link setup is because mechanically this behaves like a much larger tire than the 800 by 6 20-inch diameter tire that's here. What the airplane sees when it's landing is the effective diameter of the tire is not here, but the effective diameter is from this knuckle all the way back. So this whole assembly goes up and down, and it works really well for dampening out the off-airport rough terrain. It's sturdy as heck. It can handle all kinds of abuse, and it was really designed from its very inception to be a backcountry capable nose wheel airplane. This little guy right here, if I pull this pin and drop this key out, then this will pivot 360 degrees. The whole entire nose wheel assembly will pivot 360 degrees, which makes ground handling the airplane, pushing it back into the hangar, very easy. And then when the airplane is going to be flown, this piece goes back in, locks in with this pin, and that limits the nose wheel to 95 degrees of rotation in either direction, which assures the nose wheel and the propeller aren't going to mix it up. So the interior, this airplane, the X Cub has our highest level of fit and finish, and this is the highest level interior that we offer in the X Cub. We call it the Tandem interior package, named after the ridge line south of town here, called a Tandem Ridge. And it's a leather seat. The seat's fully adjustable fore and aft. The rear seat is a similar leather seat. It's not adjustable fore and aft, but it is adjustable up and down. And like Cub Crafters typically does, it's a sling seat. So if I want to remove this bar, take this cushion off, the whole seat folds up and stuffs up, and then the whole area is available for baggage during single pilot operations. It converts back and forth really quickly. The X Cub does not have traditional aileron cables. There's no cables hanging out here in the wind like a Cub would have. Ailerons are driven by push-pull rods inside this rear lift strut. And the ailerons themselves are what we call our G-series ailerons, and they are an aerodynamically balanced aileron. So unlike a legacy Cub aileron, these don't get heavier in flight. We can go fly this airplane at 140, 150, 160 miles an hour, and it's one hand to go full aileron deflection, but we've still got a lot of control authority even at low speeds of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. These are all of the FX3s that we build, the 3rd generation Carbon Cubs, and the X Cubs feature these ailerons. G-series flaps on this airplane. The big difference between a legacy flap and the G-series flap is that we lowered the hinge point on the flap by 1.5 inches, and that means that when the flap deploys, it creates a gap right here, which allows high pressure air from underneath the wing to spill over the top of the flap, keeps the airflow attached longer, which makes the flaps more effective at slower speeds. Looking forward here, the avionics package in this airplane This is our G3X package. Cub Crafters was the first company to certify non-TSO'd G3X avionics in a certified Part 23 airplane, and that is the avionics package that is that. You can see that on the right side of the panel there, there's a light that says do not start engine when lit. We looked at that nose gear key, and if that key is out, that light lights up. On the production version of the airplanes, that light's a little smaller, but for a demo airplane, for a bunch of guys that are used to flying tailwheel, we made it big and obnoxious so that we didn't forget about that. Baggage area on this airplane, the X-Cub has about 1,000 pounds of useful load depending on how the airplane's equipped, and it's a big, massive baggage area. This door is sized so you can fit luggage through there that would go in any overhead bin on any commercial airliner. Cubs all have adjustable horizontal stabilizers. So there's a jack screw in here that drives this up and down. So the airplane is trimmed by trimming the whole entire flight control surface here, not just by trimming the elevator. It's a little bit of an aerodynamic advantage. And coming back here to the tail of the airplane, you can see that this still has the tail, the rudder still has the horns on it for hooking up to a tail wheel. Because this airplane is convertible to tail wheel with minimal effort anytime the owner wants to go to a tail wheel configuration. All of those bits and pieces are already built into the airplane to go from nose wheel to tail wheel or from tail wheel to nose wheel. And that's the NX Cub.